Hello again, it's me, Scott Abernathy, owner of Reliant Property Management, servicing the greater Middle Tennessee area, including Murfreesboro, Smyrna, Laverne, Antioch, and areas around. I believe that every landlord needs a professional CEO to run their landlording business, and I am that CEO. Guys, let me tell you, I was at a real estate investors meeting the other day, and I saw two landlords sitting there chatting with each other. One of them looked at the other and says, you know, I got this tenant that moved in 8 months ago, and I went by their house the other day, and God, there's just crap everywhere. I mean, stuff all over the floor, dog chained to a pedestal that has actually pulled away from the concrete. Some of the siding had been chewed up. The door was all messed up. So I said to myself, I have got to get in this house. I knocked on the door, and they let me in, and what a awful situation it was. I mean, the bathtub was cracked. One of the cabinet doors was broken off. I just couldn't believe it. What do I do? His friend looked up at him and says, you know what, man, you're in one of those situations where it's too late. The damage is already done. You might as well deal with this tenant as long as you can. Are they paying you? Well, yeah, I usually get it somewhere around the 15th or 20th of the month, but you know that's going to stop sometime. Well, you know, as long as you're getting something, it's better than trying to rehab that. You'll spend thousands of dollars and you might as well drag this on as long as it can. That's when I stepped in. I looked up at him and I said, guys, I couldn't help but overhear your conversation. Let me tell you what we do. He's absolutely right. Once you're already in that situation, you're going to have to spend a lot of money on it. Damage is done. You're stuck with this tenant, frankly, for as long as you can keep them. Ultimately, one day you got to pay the piper. One day it's going to happen. So here's what we do to try to prevent that. Somewhere around the 90-day mark of after a tenant has moved in, we will schedule an appointment with them to go walk through the property. We'll eyeball stuff, do a complete 70-point checklist, and identify things that we are concerned about. Really what we're trying to do is nip this in the bud so it doesn't get to the situation where it's just stuck with the tenant. The damage is already done. If we have an indication that, you know what, we may have a problem here, we're going to take steps to prevent that in the future. Continue some more walkthroughs, maybe even if necessary, serve them a notice and get them out of the property. Another way we avoid this is, guys, we use my employees to do our maintenance work. And our maintenance technicians are trained to work with rental properties, and pretty much only rental properties. And that is a very different business than other properties. Y'all know as well as I do that you're not going to paint a house the same way to rent it as you are to sell it. So do my guys. They also know not to talk to the tenants, other than pleasantries, of course. But there's nothing worse than a heat and air technician looking up at your tenant and saying, oh gosh, this thing should have been replaced 4 years ago. You need a new heat and air system. What's the tenant expect then? No. Our employees know not to do that. They also know to report back to us on condition issues. So when there is a problem, unexpected pet, or maybe a smuggled in roommate or something like that, they report back to us so we can schedule the walkthrough as necessary. These things can prevent a lot of this kind of stuff from going on. And finally, don't forget preventive maintenance. Preventive maintenance seems like it costs a lot of money, but it's worth it in the long run. It will preserve the value of your property, which continues the appreciation. So sometimes you do have to spend a little money to make money. Those three things will take you a long way away. Just making sure that you do a 90-day walkthrough, that you make sure your technicians, vendors or employees, whoever it is that's working on your properties, are trained not to talk to the tenants and to report back to you on condition issues. And preventative maintenance. Check out those heat and air systems. Make sure the deck is sealed. Things like that. If I can help you, I again am Scott Abernathy. I own Reliant Property Management. You can find us right down here on our website. Hope to hear from you, and I hope to help you.